on the initial invite, you either send a video, you send something to create the interest, but then you have your three-way calls. I guess, what would be a good start to say, hey, I got an opportunity for you to consider, what information did you send? What
So, introductions, right?
Follow.
Introduction, follow-up. That, if you
Pretty much.
could get your head around introductions, get your head around follow-up.
Because that'll lead into the, eventually get into that three-way call. So just getting to that point to get to the three-way call. So just the initial start.
Okay? What do you got?
How can I get pyramid out of the head? That's pyramid. I'm not interested.
Pyramid. The excuse or the hurdle.
Change the concept.
How do we handle the double dose of fear? Because there's always that apprehension for me when I'm approaching somebody, but then I can.
Your fear, like how do you overcome your fear,
It's
or how
like
do you overcome their fear?
Both sides, because I think there's a little bit on the approach, and then you feel a little apprehension from the person you're trying to share the information with. So there's kind of a fear in the atmosphere for both people.
Okay. I'm sure I can muster some thoughts around that. What else we got? This is gonna be a short training if we got 4 topics.
I'd like to know what books you've read. I brought some of mine. I want to know what personal development
Resources.
that where your mind goes, where it has gone, so I can go there.
Okay.
What's your pitch?
What's my pitch to people? Is that gonna be different than introduction? You tell me. Do you have a different thought about it? Because we can talk about it any way you want. How old are you, by the way? How old are you, by the way?
Oh, I turned 18 in August.
You turn 18 or you turn, so 19. I just love that she's here on Saturday morning
Yeah.
instead of out at the beach. Love it. So if I don't cover what you want in this section, then ask up a different follow-up. Let's go here and then back.
I don't know how to really put this in a question, but as an Army recruiter, or used to be Army recruiter, we used to play back and forth with each other. Facing adversities that you was talking about. Telling our Army stories, but once you get to that was our introduction, getting past our introduction. I had it almost at the tip of my tongue. I was going to ask this question. Basically, just like I was saying to Risa, knowing your product so good that at any given time, using your Army story or using your story, you can face any adversity that you come across those problems. Because, okay, building your team. Once you have your core 3, in a sense, that's a team. That's the way I look at it. And y'all work together constantly to better each other so you can face all those adversities that you're facing. Okay? So, the 3-way calling, that's what I see that as. Do you have like a center hub where you can gather that info on a constant basis or something like that? Or
So boil all of that down to one question.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You chew on that for a second, because I know it's in there, and I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Gotcha.
I do want to talk about team, though, because that brought up a good subject,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to circle back to you.
Okay.
We'll go here, and then we'll keep going.
I would love it if we could focus on somehow just retention. So many times we come in here and we talk about, follow-up, how do you get them, how do you get them, how do you get them, but a real strength is in having 7 people that really buy in and go and get it, because it sucks to get somebody that 2 months from now you're begging them to pay. Because the idea is to be, eventually train people, get them to change their life, and make it easier on you. If you don't have retention.
I got it. I'm on it.
Knowing your audience, like your introduction to kind of caveat off with the introduction and follow-ups. A younger person versus a, maybe, I don't wanna say more jaded person, but maybe someone who's a little bit older that had had, maybe some failures, some temporary setbacks type thing, like knowing how to start, because you're not gonna start it off the same way, I don't feel like, depending on who your audience is. And then another thing that I struggle with is, you talk about your hot and cool markets and all of that. It's particularly hard to talk about it to people that I'm very close with. So, you know, because it's easy if you don't know somebody, you can just kind of say, well, this is what's going on, but, you know, someone that you really, really know, like the difference of your approach depending on your audience.
Okay. That is great. In fact, I'll have you help me with that section. Okay, so let's go to TJ and over here.
As a leader of a nice sized organization, when it comes to duplication, what would be your limitations on, okay, that's enough with, maybe that person, I need to keep it moving.
So when to quit on somebody? Let's think about it. Let's go over here.
Actually, that made me have two questions.
Okay.
First question is how to set up a group meeting, something similar to this. 'Cause I'm talking to people Wednesdays and Tuesdays, but I feel like minds think alike. And I do a lot of classes and presentations anyway, so talking to a group, I'm gonna have a better bang for the buck. And
Okay. That's gonna be a good topic.
And the second part is, like off of what he said, what not to say when you're doing your
Okay,
introduction.
that's gonna be my favorite one.
That's really good.
That's gonna be good.
Okay. Let's go here, and we'll come over here.
Give me a recommendation on what you would advise how we should be working together locally here to continue to build and support each other.
Yeah, we're gonna cover that.
Hey, Robert. Yes, I guess the three keys are to save money, to manage, and to earn. People, and I've been in the marketing business before, it's hard to break the mindset. Teach people how this is good for you. If you had any successes, we just save it. Hey, you're gonna save from here, here. And most guys, we don't save. The first time we save our life, I buy it. But I know it's more for women, they like to bargain, they like all that. How has it been successful for you and your targeting?
So I'm gonna bucket this here, introduction and follow-up into approach. Because I think that's what you're talking about. Because your approach is gonna depend on your audience. So I think those topics are gonna feed into one section. All right, we'll go 3 more, and then that'll probably be sufficient for our first 10 minutes.
So I know, what Audrey was talking about knowing your audience. How do you determine when it's best to focus on the business aspect and then versus products and services?
Okay.
Especially with people who have
That and know your audience, that'll be a section, because that'll be a sub of that, because you have to know your audience to know your approach.
Second part, would you again share with us what your routine is and your habits are to set up, so we can develop, get an idea of how to develop ourselves as well?
Talking about my daily
Yeah,
routine?
would you share that with us?
Okay? Yes.
Placement strategy.
Rena, what's that?
Placement strategy.
Placement. You're building out your organization, going straight to the bill. How to place. Okay?
One more.
All right, Fred.
One more. Where does urgency come in? In other words, getting people to that point where they got to take action.
That comes in every one of the
Okay. And it just might.
urgency. Okay? We good for a minute?
Yeah, I think so.
Give us some bite-sized pieces to talk about. All right. Let's do this. Let's start with, I'm gonna take these out of order if that's okay. We'll call this section Daily Action Plan. How many of you have a series of activities that you do every day, regardless of Wake Up Now or being in business? How many of you have a daily action plan? So Marlon, what do you do, independent of business, just what do you do? Bite size.
I read, I listen to something positive every day.
You read something and listen to something
I
positive.
gotta do it as early as possible or I won't do it.
Awesome. Get it done as early as possible or you won't do it. Okay, what do you do?
Normally, I hit the beach at 6 a.m. and I normally read my scripture, my daily devotional, and basically set my mindset to receive the people I'm going to be dealing with in the course of that whole day, so that I stay focused, calm, relaxed, and can see through the channels of difficulty, because I receive a different blend of energy every single day.
So first of all, everybody should have something you do every day. We're creatures of habit. We like consistency, we like familiarity, we like to understand our circumstances because then we feel in control. So I have a daily action plan where I do certain things, a series of things every day. So I call it my power hour. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's not. That doesn't really matter. The length of time isn't really relevant. It's that I do something in each category, and I have 3 categories in my power hour. I spend time on myself. Just like Marlon said, he likes to read, he likes to pray, or listen to something that's positive. So I spend that time when I first get up. The very first thing I do before anything else is I take that time for me, because that gets me centered, it gets me grounded, gets me to a point where, okay, I can now take on the world. So that's, if you think of it in terms of a power hour, it's in 3 segments, 20-minute segments each. So that first 20 minutes, that first segment, is my personal development, right? What do I need to put in my head so that my well is full so others can come to drink? If I'm empty, I'm no value to anybody else. So that gives me goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
It's core to who I am. So that's the first thing. Second thing is I spend some time, I know it doesn't look like it lately, but I do something of activity, right? This isn't a baby bump. This is earned over a lot of years, time, investment. They almost didn't let me skydive yesterday because I was 0.4 pounds over the limit. It can only be 250. So I was 250.4. And they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, I will shed everything I have on my body. I'm getting on that plane. So do something physical. So normally for me that's walking my dog. So I get out and I just walk my puppy. He and I go out and we do a mile up and a mile back. But that's good for him, it's good for me. I also think, sometimes I'll put in my headphones and I'll listen to a talk, something, either, sometimes I'll listen to like a Jim Rohn or a Tim Sales. I'll listen to somebody in the industry. And sometimes I listen to talks. My church does a series every 6 months. We do a big conference. And that conference, every talk is recorded. And so there's just 20 years of talks. I mean, you name it. So to me, I'll just listen to talks while I walk my dog. So that's the personal time, physical time, and then I set my day. What is it that I need to accomplish today? So I will master plan kind of the objectives for the day. And I always do the things that are most difficult first. So if I am not excited about doing something, that's where I will focus. Because if I can get that done and get it out of the way, it makes my day go better, because I'm not always dreading something that's up and coming. So for me, right now that's editing videos and stuff. So if you saw my Facebook page already this morning, it's lit up with the skydiving pictures, and they're sepia'd, and they're black and whited, and they're cropped, and they're brightened, and I don't love doing that, but I know I need to because it creates content. And so in doing that, I try to get that done out of the way first as possible. That's why a lot of times you'll see a bunch of videos or a bunch of photos hit my Facebook page or my YouTube channel or something. You'll see them hit first thing in the morning because I don't like doing it. So I got to get them done and get them out of the way. So this is setting up my day. What do I need to accomplish for that day? And then I write them out. I'm old school. I have a planner like this, and at the top of every page it's to do. And I just put a little square next to it, but that works for me. I can't do it on my phone. I've tried. It doesn't work. So I just old school, and then I do the things I don't want to do first. I'll just check them off. So that hour gets me grounded, gets me set up. And when I have the business discussion or the business decisions that I have to get done, I know what time my day, okay, I've got to take lunch to my son at noon. I block that stuff out, so I know, okay, I've got 6 hours that I can accomplish these things, because everything else, believe it or not, there's things that take precedence over your business. There's things you should be doing that take precedence over building a business using Waypoint vehicles. So when you identify those and understand those and block those out and make those irreplaceable, like do not miss those, then at that point you can work your business around those things that are irreplaceable. So that's my daily action plan. Any thoughts on that? Any questions on that? Please don't take a picture of that nasty handwriting. Any comments on daily action plan?
Question, on your daily action plan, you do it for that day, because I do mine the night before, because when I wake up.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I do a wrap up, because I go through my boxes, and I think, okay, I got everything done I needed to, or, oh, I had these 3 things I didn't, and I'll transfer those over to the next day, and I'll prioritize those first. So I don't have something that I go 8 days without doing. If I didn't get it done today, I will get it done tomorrow. And those become the things I prioritize first. So that's a wrap up. At the end of my day, I always do a switch. It drives my wife crazy sometimes because I'll be sitting in the bed and I have the light on and I'm pounding away, and sometimes she'll ask me to leave to go so she can sleep, right? So sometimes I will go and continue to work. Sometimes I'll just make it a shorter wrap up. But I always do a daily wrap up at the end of the day. Okay? All right, let's talk about events. So, event, this section, if you will, we'll call it events. First of all, how many different types of events are there? What are some thoughts? Okay, so team event. So we would call, like your Monday Legendary Life. Where'd Marlon go?
Right here.
Yeah.
Your Monday Legendary Life?
Yeah.
Is that a team event?
That's a team-centric event, yeah. No
Okay.
opportunity, just team-centric.
Right, so you're not bringing in outsiders. It's a team event, kind of a strategy session. Great, that's a type of event. What else you got?
Conference calls.
Conference calls. Is a conference call an event?
Yes.
Absolutely. A 3-way call that you set up to do with a prospective business builder and a leader on your team is an event, which means, what do events have in common? They have a beginning, they have an end, they have an agenda, they have things they want to accomplish, they have a flow. Even a 3-way call is an event. I get 3-way calls, hey, can you do a 3-way call right now? Well, we've never done a 3-way call before. Do you know how to do a 3-way call? Well, what do you mean? Do you know how to do a 3-way call? So they're on my YouTube channel, and it's better to watch it because I think I explained it really well. But on my YouTube channel, there's a picture of a beach with a golden dollar sign. That's a 20-minute presentation, and a good portion of that is how to do an effective 3-way call. So I would watch that, and I'll just give you the highlights, but effectively, who's the most important person on that 3-way call? The prospect. So I always get people who call the prospect and then dial me in like I'm elevated, and that's not how it should be. It's you get